think we're... Okay, I think we're streaming. So, wait. All right, let's get the show going, everybody. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to get this one going, everybody. So, hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone's having a great Veterans Day on this day, everybody. So, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be kind of doing a double stream today, everybody. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a couple of different builds today, hopefully. We're going to get through one and see if we can... All right, what's up, Jacko? So I'm gonna get through. We're gonna start off with one build and see if I can get if I have enough brain power or enough stamina to get through a second build. I have two builds I really want to do because I have a backlog of builds I need to do. So I'd rather knock these two out, especially this one being a client build. So this first build that we're gonna do for sure is gonna be a client build. So we're gonna be doing a client Alps stream. So a little bit of background on this particular board, everybody. I was at the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard meetup back in October, and I brought out pretty much my entire collection that I had on hand at the time. About 50 keyboards out, including a lot of the Alps stuff and some of my vintage Apple stuff. And a guy came over to my table, and he had this keyboard, and he said, like, hey, I've seen your stuff online. Like, would you be willing to, like, take a look at this board, tell me about it? And I looked at it and I said, hey, dude, like, I can restore it for you. And he said, yeah, that's something I think we should absolutely do. So I've been holding on to this board because I had to restore the switches. So I had to recoat the plate, had to clean up the PCB, tear everything down. We had to clean up keycaps. We're going white clicky Alps for this particular build. So we have a metric crap load of them. So we're going to be using white clicky Alps. I literally just have them in like a popcorn bucket. So yeah. So that's just because I have so many freaking white Alps. So, and I have many more on the way. I have like literally off camera over here. I probably have like, I don't know, close to 1,000 Alps that need to be restored. So yeah, there's a big backlog of Alp stuff that has to happen. So, and then the other build I want to do, we'll kind of see where I am with it, just see how my brain feels. Is we have an FK 2001. So this is going to be an FK 2001 that I have been wanting to add to my collection. I've had it on hand. I got it from Blue Keebs. And I just want to have an FK 2001 on hand because I really, a big source of my switches are coming from FK 2001s. And also, I love the keycaps. Of the vintage Alps keycaps, FK 2001 keycaps are my favorite. And Northgate OmniKeys, which have turned into my favorite vintage Alps board, their keycaps were made by Focus Electronics, who made the FK 2001. So they use the same type of keycaps, which is really nice. So they're double shot ABS. They yellow really nice and also just nice. They also look really good when we have a clean one. So we're going to do the client build first. And depending on how long that takes, and if I'm not completely brain dead, then we'll jump into my personal FK 2001. But the priority is getting the client build so I can mail this off to them tomorrow. And we're just going to kind of go from there. So talk about the plate. The plate was pretty rusted. So I sanded down the plate, got everything recoated. So this plate came out pretty good. And this plate is nice and protected for many, many more years to come. So that'll be really nice. The client doesn't have to worry about this plate rusting anytime soon. And then here's our PCB. So one thing about these old PCBs, they just look really, really good, which is really nice. So cleaned up the PCB with isopropyl alcohol. We desoldered all the switches. So it's really kind of nice just seeing all the diodes, seeing the controller, the old LED lights and everything, which is really nice. And then, of course, the back of the PCB, that gorgeous, gorgeous green, which is one of my favorite colors for PCBs. We have the PCB, which cleaned up really, really nice. And all the pads look really good. So we'll get this resoldered and everything like that. So, and then our case here, which is really nice. It's a nice case. And a fun fact about this client, they bought this keyboard for $1. I mean, like a cheap White Alps board online on eBay will maybe go right on the cheap end, like an FK 2001 will be like 40, 50 bucks. So the fact that he got this for $1 is like amazing. Like you don't really find stuff like this at Goodwill, or like old electronic stores anymore. Most of the good stuff has been long bought up. So I'm very jealous of this client. I'm like, why can't I find stuff like that? So we're going to put the case to the side, and we're going to actually mount the clips for our stabilizers. One thing about, and also I'll show the keycaps. So the keycaps are made of ABS, and the keycaps have this really nice yellowing. And I did ask the client if they wanted me to retrobrite them. And I just told the client, like, I personally don't retrobrite for my personal stuff. But I told the client, if you want me to retrobrite it, I will do it because it's of course, your keyboard. And the client said, no, he's fine with the yellowing. So I'm like, cool. But one thing about this uses Co-Star stabilizers. So these aren't cherry. If you can see those are not cherry mech stabs. But this is gonna be our first time kind of working with Co-Star stabilizers. So this is going to be a fun little experience. I don't have a lot of, actually, to be completely honest, I don't have a lot of experience with Co-Star stabilizers on the Alps side. I mostly use either Cherry Mechs or traditional plate mount Alps stabilizers. So this is going to be a fun learning experience, and you're going to probably see me get frustrated working with these particular switches and stabilizers, which is just going to be really nice. So we'll kind of pull these out. We have our case screws over here we'll throw to the side, and we have also all of our other stuff here. So we'll just kind of pull our stab parts out for right now and just kind of play around with them. But that's what we're really going to be doing today, folks, is getting all this stuff kind of mounted. So we're going to mount some of these Co-Star stabilizers. So they use this kind of really different kind of mounting method. They are still plate mounted like your standard Alps stabilizers, but they are a little bit different. So that is just kind of the thing to be aware of when you're working with these types of stabilizers. So yeah, we're definitely going to have a fun learning experience with these particular ones. So we're just going to get everything kind of mounted and kind of go from there. I want to see which other ones are using Co-Stars. Okay, I want to see how many of these stinking clips we got. So I didn't. So we're just going to kind of go through this one, folks. But yeah, this one is going to be, you're just going to kind of see my live reactions to this particular board as we kind of go along, because this is a client build they've been waiting about a month on. So if we can, we're gonna get this one done tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect. So we're gonna mount the other portions of our stabilizers here. So, but yeah, we have a lot of exciting builds coming up in the future. Over the next few days, we're gonna be doing a sponsored stream for the ETAR with Brown Alps. So that build's gonna be really kind of cool. It's gonna be kind of a triple sponsored stream. Hype Keyboards made the plates. The board is sponsored by the Bloody Eyes, and then these switches are sponsored by Careless. So it's really kind of, the switches were donated by Careless, so I have those on loan. So it's funny. The funny thing about the ETAR, when we do get that build together, these switches are worth more than the freaking keyboard. So the keyboard's about a $400 or $500 keyboard, but we have probably about $600 worth of switches we're going to put into the ETAR. So it's going to be a very expensive keyboard. Just to kind of show you, I'm showcasing the Alps capability of the ETAR 87, and we are going to be going completely balls to the wall in terms of switch selection. So most people who have an ETAR 87 most likely are not going to go Brown Alps just because they're very price prohibitive. But I figured, aside from, I wanted to do for the ETAR 87 build that we're going to do, just to kind of promote that board and what you can do with Alps, I figured we had to go with the most crazy switch that I could get my hands on, because there was no way in hell I was going to get like neon greens, because yeah, that's just absolutely crazily priced. So, but we're going, Brown Alps was like kind of like the next best thing in terms of just like pure insanity for that particular build. So we're really excited to get that board together and to get that one going. So we're just kind of putting in these clips right here for the stabilizers. So our space bar and our big ass enter has its stabilizing clips in, and then the rest of these things right here will be for our Co-Star stabilizers. So yeah, we're just getting all of our little clips in, and then we'll start putting switches in. We're gonna do lubing the stabilizers and putting all the keycaps in last, because yeah, this is gonna be a fun experience, because Co-Star stabilizers are a little bit finicky. It's just another type of stabilizing mount. So why is that one being all stubborn? Yeah, but we got to get these. I like putting these clips in first. Just makes my life a little bit easier. There we go. To make sure those are clipped in. Perfect. And then let's go to the side over here. And then we'll be ready to start inserting switches, which will be really nice. But I'm really excited for this board, and I'm really excited to get it to the client, because this is going to be a really cool one. So, and I'm very jealous that this client got this board for $1. I'm like, bro, I want stuff like that. Like, can I find cool keyboards like that? All right. So yeah, this should be a pretty good one. So yeah, and then we got we've been doing some we have some other cool keyboard restoration builds coming up. So got a couple Omni keys that are gonna be happening within the next couple of weeks. We got some Topre stuff coming, which is really exciting. So a lot of really cool stuff that's coming on. I'm just gonna get this clip in here. This one's being stubborn. Good. There we go. Got that one in. Yeah, so we're going to get this one in. So we're going to do this build, and depending on if I'm not completely brain dead, we will do my FK 2001. So, but yeah, let's get it going. All right, there's that one, and then this one. All right, so got our clips in here. So we're going to put the rest of our stabilizer parts to the side, and then we'll come back to those once all the switches are soldered and we test everything. But yeah, this is going to be a really cool little build. So let's just put all that stuff back away. All right. Cool. All right, let's do this. Cool. All right, let's get our switches out, everybody, and we're gonna kind of go from there. Let me get just a couple of switches to let me get 4 switches to solder in just to kind of hold everything in, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's just kind of put this plate down. This plate looks really good, actually, to be completely honest. So, all right. So let's just get a few switches in here and kind of hold stuff in. So we just want to get a couple of switches in just to kind of, for alignment purposes, just to hold stuff in. Cool. And then this one. Cool. So we're just going to get 4 switches in here. So we're going to solder those in really quick, and then we're going to get everything kind of going. So that's just going to kind of help with alignment, holding stuff in, and then we'll get going. So let's fire up our soldering iron, get that going. Oh yeah, it's way too hot. Let's get that temp dialed in. There we go. And let's get our solder wick going on this one. Cool. All right, let's get this one going, everybody. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer stream today. So let's get these ones soldered in, and we'll get going. All right, letting our soldering iron kind of warm up. Almost there. Cool. And we are warmed up. So let's get this one in. Cool. Cool. Let's do this one over here. Awesome. Let's go over here now. Cool. Perfect. And let's go up here. Cool. All right, got 1 pin each. Let's do the other pin on each of these 4 switches, and then we'll start just dropping in all of our switches. Cool. These ones are good. Let's move up here. Cool. All right. Let's move those to the side. And we're good. Awesome. So we got our plate assembly kind of held in place. So there we go, folks. We got 4 switches just kind of holding everything in. So that's looking pretty good. So like how that came out. So let's get just my popcorn bucket of switches and we'll just start getting them going, everybody. Look at that. So, all right, let's just start inserting switches. I'm going to go on this around this perimeter first. And we'll just start pressing them into the PCB and the plate. So there we go. Yeah, this is a really cool little board, and the fact that my guy paid $1 for this stinking thing is just ridiculous and makes me very jealous. So yeah, we're gonna go around and do the perimeter, and then we'll just kind of work our way around, friends. So good times. Oop. Cool. Got our F-row almost fully installed. We're just going to kind of go through. Cool. Look at that. Got our F-row. Let's kind of do our bottom row, folks. Looking good. We're just getting that perimeter going. Awesome. Cool. It's looking good, everybody. Awesome. We got that portion going. Let's get our number pad filled in. All right, just inserting the switches, folks. So coming along. All right. Cool. Got that cluster, and let's just put in our alphas, and then we should be good to go on this one. And then we'll start soldering switches in, folks. So. So, come along. Cool. Coming along, folks. one more row, folks, and then we're going to start soldering these puppies in. So it's going to be fun. Alright, put the bucket to the side. Let's solder these in. And once we get them soldered in, we'll start testing. So, there we go, everybody. So, looks really good. So, get our solder vent going. And yeah, we're going to get this one going, everybody. Alright, let's get my little solder lead going. We'll start on this side by our number pad. We'll just kind of work our way around. Cool. Looking good, folks. Looking good, folks. So we're just getting these soldered in. Yeah, looking good. Looking really good. Cool. Okay, so we're getting some good soldering action going on this puppy, everybody. Cool. Looking good, everybody. So, getting it going. Cool. Yeah, we're just starting off with our numpad first, everybody, and then we'll move on to our getting those numpad switches in here. Filling in really nice, actually. So yeah, we're doing a Zeos Full-Size Alps keyboard for our client. The client found this for $1. So, very, very jealous. We're almost done with the numpad. Cool. Numpad's good. Sorry, I'm just giving my... There we go. Alright, let's start moving to our arrow and navigation cluster over here. Looking good. So... Nice. Okay, those arrows look good. Looking good, everybody. Cool. Alright, arrows are good. Let's just do our navigation cluster. And we'll start moving on to our kind of our main cluster of the board, which will be nice. Cool. Looking good. Cool. Cool. Almost done with our navigation cluster. Cool. It's coming along, folks. Awesome. Looking good. Cool. Alright, let's get that bottom row attached and we'll get going. Cool. Awesome. Spacebar is good. Cool. Awesome. Nice. Perfect. Now let's do our F row, and then we'll kind of do a little bit of testing. Cool. Looking good, friends. Cool, cool. Cool. Good times, everybody. Awesome. F row's coming along, everybody. Awesome. This F row is coming along, everybody. Looking good. You just get a little more solder lead. Cool. almost there. Cool. Now that one, let's do this edge out here. Good times. Yeah, pretty good. I'm trying, my man. It's a good time. So we're doing a client restoration here. So life is good. It's Veterans Day here, so it's been a nice, easy-going day. So life is good, everybody. So we're just soldering in these switches for this vintage restoration for a client. So this one's coming along, so it should be a good time. Yeah, we're just getting these switches soldered in. And then the fun part's going to be installing the stabilizers on this one. Cool. Those are good. Let's do these other modifiers over here. So switches, we're doing pine white clicky Alps. So for this particular one, actually, if we have time and see how brain dead I am, we'll probably do a personal build after this. That's also a vintage restoration, which will also have pine whites. So pine whites are the switch that came after blue Alps. So they're good. They're good switches, and they get you like 80 to 90% of the way of blue Alps, but without like the premium that blue Alps cost. Like, I love my blue Alps. It's my favorite switch, but they're freaking expensive. So just getting these. I want to do a little bit of testing. I want to take a break from the soldering just to give my brain a little bit of a breather. So, all right, we got a bunch. So pretty much we have all the switches soldered in except for our main number and alpha cluster. So I want to kind of just do some testing really quick on this particular board. So let me grab my cable and let's get her plugged in. So now this board does have an attached cable. So let me get my adapter. There we go. Let's plug this puppy in. Cool. So my lights come on. Let's get VIA opened up. Let's go into our little switch tester here. All right, let's do this. So let's do our numpad. Zero's working. That's working. Enter. Awesome. Num block is good. All right, cool. Numpad's good. So that's always really nice. Ah, dead switch. Down arrow. Let's see if we can. I'll do that later. Delete works. Pause is being weird. All Okay. Print screen's good. F11, F12 are being weird. Scroll lock lights work. Caps lock light works, so we're good there. Left shift. Okay, we're gonna have to rotate that one, I think. Okay. Yeah, but I think so far we're pretty good. So I'm gonna unplug this. We're gonna finish soldering in the rest of the switches, and then we'll do some more kind of testing. So there we go. Coming along so far, everybody. Coming along. Let's get that vent going. Let's do the main cluster right here. So white ivory, okay, let me say this. So white ivories are dampened tactile, so they're going to sound a lot quieter. I mean, Alps aren't a quiet switch, but they're going to sound a lot quieter compared to like a clicky Alp. But the thing that's going to be just really kind of interesting when you kind of think about these switches is when it comes to Alps, clickies are kind of wear it out. Whether you're looking at ambers, blues, or pine whites. That's really where Alps are at their best. Tactiles are really good too, like brown Alps. Ivories are really good. It's funny, ivories get a lot of hate. I really like ivories. I have them in one of my frog TKLs, and I absolutely love them, and I'm planning to put them in a few other builds. So ivory is really underrated Alp switch. They don't deserve all the hate, but I really like that switch. So let's solder in the rest of these puppies, and then we'll desolder where we need to. Cool. Coming along, folks. Looking good. So we're doing our number row. Nah, you're good, dude. You're good. So it's a fun time. Yeah, like ivories are really good. So, and again, the ivories I gave you were click modded. So, so you just modify the tactile leaf to give you that click sensation. So they're really, really good. So this is a really good switch overall. So like ivory's really good switch. And the thing that's interesting, they get a lot of hate because they're just so common. But they're a really good switch. I think ivories are kind of that switch within the Alps family that a lot of people kind of sleep on. So that's the thing that's just kind of interesting. So I really, really enjoy working with those particular switches. I have like 400 of them off camera. So they're a really good switch. And I have them in my Frog TKL, and I freaking love them. So give me a minute. Let me just finish this route. I might grab the Frog TKL. I'll show y'all. All right, let me grab the frog. Let me grab my frog. That's a good one. There we go. When I say grab my frog, I have like every single frog in the frog lineup. So this is one of my frog TKLs. So this is just my kind of standard frog TKL. Let me just get Via out of the way so I can actually see. There we go. So this is just kind of my standard frog TKL. So yeah, they're really good. So these are unmodified. So these haven't been these haven't been click modded, but they're really a really good switch. This is what they sound factory and really cleaned up. So way more subdued. So the thing that's nice, Alps are a really inherently loud switch, but if you want something that's a little more quieter, more subdued, ivories are kind of the way to go, and also they're cousin white ivories, which are kind of a later version of dampened tactiles. These are really, really good types of switches. But yeah, these are really, really cool. So yeah, if you frogs make fantastic Alps builds. It's funny, I'm actually tracking down, I'm working on, I had a client in Israel reach out to me recently, who I'm going to be building a board for, which is going to be really cool. actually got referred to me by Careless, which is really kind of cool. So the guy wants an Alps build and a frog TKL, which is going to be really cool. So I told the client we're kind of working on switches and things like that. We're probably going to go white clicky switches because that's kind of what the client wants, and we're going to go Tai Hao, which will be really cool. So yeah, we definitely get some international clients, and it was kind of cool to get a client referred to by Careless, because Careless also deals with like custom Alps commissions, but Careless has just been kind of busy with life and work. So it was really kind of nice to have Careless send one of his clients over my way, which is really nice. That's a big compliment, which is really cool. Yeah, but this is one of my personal builds, and I absolutely love it. So, and it's cool because it's a cookies and cream colorway from Geonworks. So really, really cool little colorway. You don't really see too very often. I don't know how many. They didn't make a lot of these in this particular colorway. So it looks great with the Tai Hao vintage gray and white. So, and of course we got wing keyless, 7U spacebar, and they sound really good. And I'm going to be putting these switches also in my Frog Mini Passante, which are going to be really cool. So yeah, so that's going to be really cool. So, and then last week it fit really well. So, and then again, I shipped off the Key Cult builds that I did last week to my client, my international client. So they were over in Europe, which is really cool. So we've definitely been getting some clients in other parts of the world, which has been really cool. So we've had Singapore, we've had Ireland, we're going to have Israel on the list of folks, Canada. So it's been really cool, like being able to do builds for people in different parts of the world, which is really nice. And I've also sent switches, just restored switches, to other people, so a couple of clients in Europe, which is really cool. So that's just been it's been really awesome, like talking to people in other parts of the planet and just kind of figuring out and making connections with people. So it's really kind of cool, and just spreading the love of Alps. So, but yeah, Kamara, I would definitely recommend either a Frog TKL if you want other Alps. Like look into like if you want something really cheap and affordable just to kind of play around with the vintage stuff, like look into the old Apple keyboards. Like Apple extended keyboards are freaking sick. Like I'll show you my AEK. Like you can get, like this is my AEK1. Like these things you can get for like $40-50 on eBay, and they'll be pretty clapped, but they make fun restoration projects. And they're really good boards once you clean them up, and they look really, really pretty once you clean them up. And if you opt to retrobrite them, they look even cooler. I don't like retrobriting. I love the yellow, but these are really cool boards. Like just look up Apple extended keyboard on eBay, and and I can tell you what models you want to look for, but these things are awesome. These have orange Alps. So I'm restoring a couple of Apple extended keyboards. I mean, another vintage Apple board that's fun to go after. I can't really reach it, but I can kind of send you one. Or like old Dell AT101s are really cheap. You can get them for like $30 on eBay. So like there's definitely really cool vintage boards that you can get for not a lot of money. And if you break it, trying to fix it or like restore it, it's not a big deal. But that really kind of helps you just kind of tinker around and kind of mess with them. Blue Keebs, I'm gonna do your FK. So this is this is the Zeos board. I'm gonna do the FK 2001 after this board. So I want to get this. I've been so busy with stuff. I want to get this client build done so I can mail it out tomorrow to the client. And then when we're done building this thing, if I'm not completely brain dead, we'll do the FK 2001. So yeah. Dude, Cloudlands are sick. I mean, there's a reason I have 2 Frog TKLs. I mean, like how you love the Cloudline boards, I love my Frogs. So like I have like 2 Frog TKLs. I have an F18X. I have a Geon F18X 722. So I have 2 Frog TKLs. I have 2 Geon F18Xs. And I have a bunch of Frog Minis. So like I definitely feel your love for like a specific line or family of boards. And the Cloudlands are cool because they make great Alps candidates. Which is really cool. So yeah, I have the FK. Where the heck is the FK 2001? So I have the FK 2001 PCB over here with all as well as the plate, and then the case is over here. So yeah, we're gonna do the FK 2001. a little bit later. I want to get this client build done, so we're just soldering in the switches. Then we'll test them to solder what we needed to solder, and then put in CoStar stabilizers. Blue Cubes, you're gonna get to see. I hope I make you laugh. This is my first time doing CoStar stabilizers, genuinely. So this is gonna be absolutely delightful watching me try and struggle with CoStars. So I'm not entirely familiar how to do them. I have the basic idea, but this is gonna be really fun figuring out CoStars. So, not my favorite Alps stabilizer type, but hey, for a client build, I'll do anything, man. So this is gonna be a fun little build. So yeah, we're just getting this one done. But yeah, this build, this Zeos board, there's a lot of similarities between it and the FK2001. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Focus Electronics were like the OEM, and then they just kind of sold the parts to Zeos, and Zeos put it together. But there's a lot of similarities, and this basically looks like internally it looks like an FK2001. So CoStar stabs, I don't know, man. I don't like the boat tail mounting, the boat tail anchors. To be completely honest, that's just that's the part that I kind of find annoying. So I don't know. I guess I'm just a creature of habit, and I like what I like. So like, if I can get a if I can have a vintage Alps board that just supports standard like plate mount Alps stabilizers, I'm gonna go with that. That's just kind of my preference. I'm just kind of set in my ways, and also just kind of lazy. So that's usually my preference. And also my initial foray into Alps was on the modern side. So like, if you look at like a lot of Carolys's plate files, or like a lot of the modern boards that I've converted to Alps, they're using most of them that use Alps, like original Alps keycaps, are using the standard plate mounted Alps stabilizers. So that's what I kind of learned first. So I'm just more comfortable with standard plate mount stabilizers for Alps. So just CoStars, I just don't have a lot of experience with them. That's just the kind of thing with it. And also a lot of the boards that I've like torn down or harvested, like the ones that have really crap keycaps use CoStar stabs. So yeah, that's just kind of my stance on those. So but yeah, we're just getting them soldered in, everybody. So just want to finish up this client build, and I really want to do the FK2001. So we got a little bit of an earlier start in the stream today, so we should be able to do the FK2001. And then we got a bunch of builds coming up that are going to be super sick. So there's a lot of fun and exciting content, but I just wanted to do 2 for 2 tonight. Yeah, the standard Alps stabilizer is just a lot easier to work with. And again, I'm lazy and a creature of habit. So yeah, we got 2 more rows in our alpha cluster, and then we should be good to start testing and then figuring out what switches we got to desolder. So yeah, so it should be a good time, everybody. So we're getting there, folks. Home stretch. Alright, almost to our last row. Come along. Alright, got that row. We got one more row we got to do. And then we'll start just kind of testing switches here. Let's get a little more of a solder lead out here. Get a little more solder wire going. Cool. Almost there. Alright. Cool. Looking good. So we have like 4 more switches and then we'll start testing. Cool. Alright, we're done with the kind of main line soldering. Alright, let's put that to the side. Let's get this puppy plugged in. Alright, so we're not done soldering. I know there are some switches that are going to have some faulty switch plates, so we'll see what we can do about that. So let's get this puppy plugged in. Cool, got that. Let's plug our DIN connector in. Cool. Alright, let's get her going. Alright, let's get my VIA open and we'll go from there. Alright. Let's do this. Alright. Give me a second. Maybe. Alright, let me try this again. There we go. Alright. Caps lock is good. Caps lock light comes on. Shift, Control, Alt, space bar. Okay, down arrow is being weird. Okay, so down arrow, insert, and pause we're going to go with first. So let's fix those really quick. And we'll go from there. There we go. Alright, let's unplug those. Let's get my tools out. I'd prefer not to have to desolder stuff, but hey, we're just going to kind of troubleshoot and just kind of go from there. So let's see what we can do. So okay, let's try that. Okay, there's that one. Let's do insert. And then pause is being weird. Cool. Right here. Cool. Let's grab that. Oh. All right, we're flipped over here. Cool. Try that. And if that doesn't work, we'll desolder these puppies. So, this is the part of the build that takes time, but hey, it's worth it. Because like I said, when I do client builds, I want them to be 100% correct and actually work. I don't want the client getting something that is a subpar product. So, that's not how we roll here. We give clients good products. Okay, that's good. That arrow works. Okay, I just want to try one thing. Give me a second. Where are you? I want to see if I can do... All right. Cool. So we're still... All right, PFS Nubs. What's up, sir? What's up? Thanks for jumping on. Again, we are doing a vintage Alps restoration for a client keyboard commission. So we're just doing... We've had all the switches soldered in. We're doing testing right now, just trying to figure out which switches are faulty. So my insert is being weird. So we're probably going to desolder that one, but I want to kind of go through and figure out what other switches are kind of being weird. So let's just kind of go through here. You guys, enter works, caps lock is good, tilde is good, escape is good. Okay, F11, F12 are being weird. Three is being weird. Okay, F3, F11, F12. Let's do that. So let's pull those out. So let's see what we got. Let's pull that one out. There we go. Let's do a little bit of compression here. All right. Never know. All right. And then F11 and F12 are being a little funky. So we'll go through there and see what's up. Hopefully this can save us a lot of desoldering. It's kind of learned. Just squishing that switch, compressing that switch plate does pretty good actually. So that's what we're going to try and do here. Cool. All right, let's get these pliers and get these ones going. All right, let's reassemble these ones and we'll kind of go from there. Awesome. All right. And once we get everything working properly, then we'll start doing stabilizers. All right. Let's get that plugged in. Let's try this F row again. Oops, wrong board. There we go. All right, let's try that again. All right, wait a minute. There we go. Okay, F3 works. F12 is still being weird. So F12 and insert, we're going to do some desoldering on. So I'm going to get the desolder gun out and get those desoldered, and then we'll put some new switches in there. Those are just not being what I want them to be. So let's do some desoldering. Let's get the desolder gun out, and then we'll kind of go from there. Give me a second, everybody. It's a whole menagerie behind me, so. All right. Let's get this desolder gun plugged in. Let's get her fired up. Cool. All right, let's get a couple of the tools just to make life a little bit easier as we kind of get working with this tool. It's just, yeah, that should be good. That's actually not too bad starting out. So, but we still have to do the alpha and number cluster. I'm just kind of working my way through the board, but yeah, pine whites are pretty good. I don't have too many issues with pine whites. It's just, again, gray switched greens and gray switched plate oranges are the bane of my existence. But other than that, we're pretty good. So we want to do insert and then F12. So insert, just making sure I'm looking at the right one, F12. Yep. I already have a clog in this damn thing. Good God, really? Yep, got a clog. Give me a second. So, gotta love the Hacko. It's a great tool. It's just, yes, well, there we go. Well, there's your problem. Yeah, there we go. Had a little something stuck in there. So, actually, I still see some crap in there. Give me a minute. So, that's one thing about the Hacko. Great tool. It's just, it's a very high maintenance tool. So, yeah, you definitely want to take care of this tool and definitely clean it out thoroughly after every time you use it. We were doing a lot of desoldering of this tool last night. Alright, we're good. So, cool. Alright, we should be good now. Cool. Alright, let's move that. Let's put this over here and let's pull these switches out. So F12 comes out, insert comes out, and this one I'm actually flipping. I think the pins go that way. Cool. Let's grab a couple new switches and let's solder these puppies in. Alright. Let's solder these in. Alright, let's get my solder lead going. Alright, let's solder these puppies in. Cool. All right, let's put the solder gun to the side. All right, got those switches going. Let's plug this in. Cool. Oop. There you go. All right, let's try this again, everybody. Looking good. Cool, that's good. F12 is good. F-row looks solid. Yep. Tilde, tab. Yeah, just making sure everything works. Just kind of going, I'll do our number and alpha cluster last. Just checking all of our modifiers. Backspace is good. Okay, I'll figure that one out. Okay, one is being weird. We'll come back to one. T is being weird. So 1 and T so far. Oh, that's being weird. Okay, we know we got to desolder, so that's good. Just a few switches we got to desolder, so let's get those going. All right, let's get that desolder gun going. All right. Let's wait for that light to flicker off, and then we'll be good to go. Once that light comes off, that means we're heated up and we're ready to go. So, yeah, we don't have too many dead switches on this one, which is pretty good. Again, like I don't have a high failure rate on these particular switches, which is really nice. So there we go. Let's start desoldering. So letter Z. Gosh darn it. Another clog. Oh, well, there's your problem. It's okay. Hold up, everybody. We got a decent clog today. Well, all right, we're going to have to push it out. Good times. Again, Hacko, thoroughly clean it, everybody. So, again, this is a used and abused tool by me. There we go. There we go. That should do it. All right. So, pretty good. So, yeah, Hacko's great, but and very expensive. But hey, I cannot imagine my soldering job without them. So. Awesome. And this one. Want to do number 1. Okay, 1, and then T was being weird. Okay, T. And we also had this one. And then J. I think that's it. And then this one. Cool. Alright, let's pull these out. Okay, what else? And then J. I think that's it. Give me a minute. There's something right here. Is that all of them we pulled out? This one. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. Cool. Alright, let's get some new switches in here. And then we'll kind of go from there. There you go. Let's solder some new ones in. And we'll get it going. Cool. Got those in. Alright, let me just get... Oh, for crying out loud, really? Got another clog in this stinking thing. Let me pull that out before we... Yeah, this hacker does not like me today. Give me a second. Before I put it away, let's clean any stuff out of this thing. Yeah, give me a minute, everybody. Hacko needs some maintenance. Ah, there we go. Good enough for government work. Cool. All right. Alright, let's plug the vent in. Let's get these switches installed, and then we're going to work on that split backspace one. Alright. Cool. Well, let's get them going. Cool. Alright, let's test these. Coming along, but yeah, we're coming along, and we'll figure out that split backspace. Alright, let's go through this. T is good. right, Z and okay. Still having some issues with some faulty switches. That is okay. It's part of the process, everybody. So, all right, Z and my letter Z and my quotation button. So, it's all good, everybody. So, it's part of the process. We are definitely trusting the process on this one. Waiting for that light to come on, so we're almost there, friends. There we go. All right, let's pull those out. Awesome. Let's grab a couple new ones. Can't be dropping stuff, so almost there, everybody. Solder these in really quick, and let's try and test these. Cool. All right. Put the hack out to the side. Let's plug this puppy in again. Let's plug her in. All right. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Okay, everything should be working now. Okay, I'm going to reset everything because we still have to figure out that split backspace button. Coming along, folks. Cool. All right, so let's put this split backspace one in. So we're going to unplug everything. Looking good. Cool. All right, let's do this split backspace. Let's grab another one of these. I think it's at the top. Figure it out. All right. Let's figure out how that registers. crap. All right, we're good. That split backspace is working. All right, everything works here, folks. Now I'm gonna unplug everything, put our main cable to the side, and then we're gonna start doing keycaps. So we are done soldering, folks. So I'm gonna put the desolder gun away really quick, folks. Just let me put its parts away, and then we'll get going. So, I mean, we're not entirely done with the solder gun because we're going to do the FK2001 hopefully tonight. So, we're doing good on time. So, we'll just kind of chuck that to the side, chuck the tools to the side. And there we go, folks. But yeah, that is our complete assembly for right now. So, that's looking really good. So, let's get our stabilized keycaps out, and we'll start prepping them. So we have our space bar, big ass enter, our shifts, numpad enter, another shift. That's all there. So we clean these keycaps up, so they look pretty good. Okay, we got our plus, we got our 0. And then I think that's it. We only have, yeah. So we have the split backspace on this one, so that looks good. Put the rest of our keycaps to the side. Because we got to do this, we'll do this fun endeavor. Now everybody, this is my first time doing co-star stabs, so you get to watch me struggle and have absolutely a delightful time doing this. So, yeah, so this is going to be absolutely great, everybody. Get my tools to do all this. I'm kind of done with this one. Or 205G0. All right, let's get this little container opened. Cool. All right, there we go. All right, let's get it going, everybody. So, the two main co-stars are going to be our big ass enter and our space bar. So I really want to get that one going first. So let's get all those parts going. And we'll just kind of go from there. Oh, forgot the co-stars for the other part of the big ass enter. Let me get those parts in. Okay. I think we're going to start off with the big ass enter and then do the space bar. So I know these co-stars, I got to figure out which orientation these co-stars kind of go in. Something like that? Or is it the other way? Let's figure it out. So, yeah, we're just going to kind of go through this together, kind of figure it out. So, all right, got that portion in, and then we want to do these portions. So, I know this portion is part of that part. Yeah, that wire is part of the big ass enter. And then I think it's this one. Yeah. Because I think these go. Yeah. Cool. So it's these two weird ones that are going to be my big ass enter ones, and then these ones are part of the space bar. Yeah, so we'll do these ones first because the other stabilized keycaps are just standard Alps stabilizers. So yeah, so we're gonna start off with our big ass enter, and yeah, just kind of work from there. So I'm gonna leave the part where our clips are gonna go in. So we're gonna put a little bit of lube right there. Cool. And then we're gonna lube these little wire clip thingies under here. Anywhere where a wire is gonna make contact. So that's what we're kind of doing right there. So these little wire holder thingies, he's just gonna add some lube under there just to kind of help lubricate stuff and also reduce rattle. And then put our space bar to the side. Let's get these little this little wire thing here. All right, let's get this first little clip in here. Okay, got that one in. Let's get this one in. Cool. All right, let's get this portion in here. Perfect. All right, let's see if I can get these. Let's see if I can get these things like clipped in. Cool. I'm just going to put a little bit of lube, just kind of where the wire makes contact. And then we'll be done with our big ass enter. Alright, Blue Cubes, that wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. So, I don't completely hate them now, but still. I prefer standard Alps mount. But yeah, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So, yeah, so we're just wiping off any excess right there. There's our big ass enter. So, that looks pretty good. All right, now let's get our space bar in here. So, looking really good. So, let's lube our, where the clip, let's lube our portion where the wire is going to clip in right there. Perfect. Let's lube these wire holders under here. Cool. All right, now let's lube this wire. Cool. That's way too much. All right, cool. All right, let's get this wire clipped in. And then once we get these puppies in, everything is pretty standard fare for Alps. So cool. 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 Awesome. So, our two hardest keys, the spacebar and our biggest enter, were with co-stars. Everything else is pretty good. So, that is awesome, everybody. Looking really good. All right, let's get our other keycaps here, and we'll start doing our other stabilized keycap parts. These ones are very standard, so that's the nice thing about this part. So we're looking pretty good here. And once we have these on, we'll do our final assembly. We are making really good time on this board, to be completely honest. So yeah, we're definitely going to do the FK 2001. So awesome. Let's do our big shift. So our right shift here. Cool, we got those lubed up. Cool. Let's lube our clips here. All right, let's get this one in here. Cool. Those are good. Let's do our shift, our left shift. Cool. Getting our little bit of lube there. Cool. Cool. Let's get our, there we go, our shift right here. Cool. All right, clip this one in. All right. Cool. Those are good. Awesome. Move on to our numpad now. It's getting close, everybody. Once we get this numpad lubed up, we are pretty much ready to put keycaps on this puppy. So. Cool. All right. Awesome. Lord. Cool. Almost there, folks. Cool. Awesome. Let's put the 0 on here. Pretty good. All right, let's do our plus, and then we'll do our enter last. All right, let's put our wire. Cool. Let's get that one in there. Cool. All right, let's get our plus in here, lubed up. All right, let's get this plus on here. Cool. Cool. One more, folks. All right. Cool. Got that one. Let's just do the last bit of loop. Oop. Cool. All right. Let me put the 205G0 stuff to the side. There we go. But yeah, we are good to go, folks. So we're going to mount. We're going to get everything ready. We're going to get everything. Give me a second, folks. Give me a second, folks. All right, give me a second. I gotta do something with my dog really quick. Give me a second, folks. I gotta grab something really quick. Give me a second, everybody. I'm back, everybody. Sorry about that. Cool. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, sorry. So, there we go. Sorry I had to take care of something. So, there we go, folks. So, let's get everything ready to be mounted in the case. So, we'll grab our case assembly. We'll get our cable kind of routed into the case first, because that's going to kind of be our first objective, because this is a non-detached cable. So let me get that kind of going. So let me get my cable snaked through this. There we go. And then let's bring that cable in here. So it is a attached cable, so we got that. So that's good. And let's bring our actual assembly here. Let's have that line up there. And then we're going to have our good little ground wire thing go right there. So, let me grab my case screws. We'll get that mounted in there. Oh, I got a sus alert. Fun times. Oh, I got a bot in my chat. Heck yeah. Hi, bots. Again, I will never try to buy viewers. I want people to be here because they actually want to be here. I was watching Black Simon stream the other day, and he took the title and said, "We are the worst keyboard stream on the internet." And I'm like, bro, I want to take that title. That is my title. I want to take that title. We are the worst keyboard stream on the internet, folks. So don't take that from me. So we're going to get our ground wire right here, and we're going to get her plugged in. So we got our ground plugged in, which is really nice. Now I just want to make sure my... Perfect. Awesome. So we got our little cables in there. Perfect. So ground wire is connected to our PCB. And then we're just going to plug our plate in. Alright, there we go, folks. Let's screw this puppy in. And then we'll start putting keycaps on this puppy. Yeah, this board came out really nice. So yeah, really good. And like I said, my client got this for $1, by the way. So I got this Pine White Alps full-size keyboard for $1 at Goodwill. I'm like, I hate you. I'm jealous because I want to find cool stuff like that. Alright, cool. Let's flip her around. And there we go, folks. So let me move my little work mat over to the side for right now. Let's just move that cable out of the way. And yeah, let's get this plugged in. We'll go from there. So I'll start doing keycaps on this puppy. You can really see her come together. So there we go, folks. Look at that. Cable looks really nice, but yeah. That sounds really good. So dump our keycaps out. We'll start putting keycaps on. There we go, everybody. Let me grab a little drink too as we get going. So yeah, good times everybody. So let's start putting keycaps on. Let me unplug it so I'm not making my switch matrix go all crazy and whatnot. I'll put on our big keycaps first. So this is looking pretty good. So yeah, this is a really cool little board. So I am very happy the client reached out when I was at the mechanical keyboard meetup at UC Irvine, because this is a cool board we're giving some new life to. Yeah, I mean, blue keys, I can show you. I don't know. Is this pad print? So yeah, I don't see any evidence of double shots. These are probably pad printing, but hey, it's not my keyboard, it's the client's. So, and they paid $1 for it, so I don't think they can be too upset about that. So, but yeah, so this is a cool board. Definitely a cool board. So I think it's a cool little board, and this was definitely a steal that the client found. So, for $1, I don't think you can beat it. Put that 6 over 1 too close. There we go. Yeah, so we're just getting it going, folks. We're putting these keycaps on. We'll do a little sound test, and then we'll switch over to the FK 2001. So, but yeah, this is a cool little board. Nice. Thanks, Blue Keys, for the little information on these. Like I've said in the past, you are a great resource for all this stuff. So, cool. Let's make sure. Yeah, we're just getting all these keycaps put in here. Doing our home cluster, and then we'll do a test. Yeah, that black plate also comes out really sick too, so. There's our backspace. Escape key. Cool. Making sure. I know the 1U backspace on this one. Yeah, it definitely comes with that. So, although really random, the alts are green on this one. There's our pause, page down. Yeah, this looks pretty good. And I'm glad the client opted not to go retro brighting, because I just think it adds to the vibe of this board. But like I said, he found it for $1, so I don't think you can really argue that this is a pretty good steal. So $1 at Goodwill, that's a bargain in my book. So. Yeah, I'm very jealous because, dude, I've like gone to like Goodwill and like different stores around like Los Angeles, Southern California, and I still don't find crap like this. Because you find the stuff in the store, they usually know what they have, and I'm like, bro, I want cool stuff. I want to be able to find cool stuff like this. I'm very jealous. So, yeah, this is definitely a cool little find. So. And I mean, like I said, the thing that's cool too about this board, I mean, since these are pad print, if the client, yeah, dude, it's pretty interesting that they found this like freaking Goodwill. So it's pretty good. But I mean, the thing that's nice too is like this takes the standard keycap set. So if the client wanted to put Taihao or something else better on it, they could do that at like a later date. So that's really nice. That's the one cool thing about this board. So. Cool. Almost there. It's really kind of cool seeing the board come together. And then we'll switch over to the FK 2001. I want to do a test of everything. Oh man, that looks great. Oh man, that looks super sick. That looks super awesome. So, yeah, this came out really nice. There's some scuffs right here on the cable. I'll definitely clean up before a little later tonight after stream. But other than that, this thing is in really good condition. So, there's our board, everybody. It came out really nice. Let's flip her over. So, that is our Zeos board. So, came out really, really nice. We have these little flip out feetsies, which are really nice. So, let's plug her in. Let's just do one final test of everything. We should be good to go. Let's make sure our little switch at the bottom is in the right orientation. Perfect. And yeah, let's get this puppy tested. So let me pull up my switch tester. Yeah, you are absolutely correct, Blue Cube. It's again, I think it's the thing that sucks. It's just getting harder and harder to find this stuff, which sucks. Like outside of like eBay and like online keyboard forums and whatnot. So. There we go. Cool. Made some really good time on this board. So, all right, let's switch it over there. All right, let's reset. Hold up. There we go. All right. What's going on? Give me a second. Okay, what's up with this? Give me a minute. All right. Okay, why is that not working? Now that switch on the bottom is a little funky. Okay, give me a second. Why? I might have to open this thing up, see what's going on. What the heck? All right, let me try this again. Let me try my converter. It should be working. What the heck? Okay, let's try this again. Alright, may have to open this thing up because I don't know why it's not registering. It's super weird. So, alright, let's open this thing up again. Fine. So, it's part of the fun of this, doing it live on stream, everybody. So we want to make sure, again, especially if this is a client build, we want this to go to the client and be spotless. So. Alright, let's flip her around. Let's see what's up with this. Alright, let's see. Okay, everything looks fine. Super weird. Huh. That is really weird. Let me try this. Let me just do my ground. See if that causes any issues. I don't know why that's being weird. Because we were working and we were outside of the case. Alright, good to know. ATXT plug, so. Alright. Yeah, good to know. Okay, I'll switch the switch. Unplug it. Plug her back in. Okay, let me go. Alright, this is really weird. Okay. Let me try this again. Okay. Lord, I don't know why this is being weird. Alright. Give me a second, friends. That is really weird. Huh. Okay. Let me just let me unplug everything. See what's up. Okay, what the frig is going on? That is really weird. Okay. Let me try plugging her in again. Yeah, I see the 8008826. So, it's just really weird. Because it was working. Oops. It's okay. These things are very robust. Alright, well, let's try this again. That's really weird, man. Because, like, okay. Let's try that. Alright, we got it. Alright. I think we got it. Let me try it. Okay, my lights are coming on. But, like, I'm not getting any key presses. The heck? This thing literally was working. I am really confused right now. Okay, let me try the thing again. That's so weird. That is really weird. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'll screw the brown plug in. Let me just get everything just put down again. That is so weird, man. Like, so weird. Okay, got the ground on. Okay. Let's try this again. This is super weird. Yeah, I got the switch. Okay. Plug it back in. This is really weird. Like, what the heck, man? Like, this was working. This is really weird. Huh. Oh, that's really weird, man. Okay, let me try the other switch, I guess. Okay. Switch it. Let's unplug it. Yeah, the lights, here's the thing. I put it in the 8088 setting, and that's giving me this one. So like scroll up, caps lock lights are coming on. So that's really weird. Like, it is so weird. All right, let me try one more thing. Let me try a different converter. I do have a different one. Let me just try that. All right, let's try that. This is really, really weird. Because I'm like, this is so weird. Yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. Yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. So, I mean, this is built, and I know it works. I mean, it was working earlier. Yeah, well, this is really annoying. So, Lord, yeah, because this is built, and we're pretty much ready to go. Unironically. Like, I am very dumbfounded. Let me try one more thing. Okay, let me unplug it. Let me switch to the other one. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this is not good. Okay. Okay, let me go into Google really quick. Yeah, I'm really confused right now. That is kind of whack. launching a different tester, and yet nothing is registering. That is super weird. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to come back to this one because I'm just getting frustrated. This kind of sucks, everybody. So yeah, so my client, if you're watching, yeah, we're gonna figure out what's wrong with your board because yeah, I have no idea, to be completely honest. Yeah, and it's weird because I haven't had any issues with this converter, so I'm just gonna remove the cable for right now. I'm gonna take it fully out of the case. I don't think that's gonna do anything. I'm just trying to troubleshoot, so. Cool. All right, let me take this out. Cause yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. This is really weird. I've not had this happen with the board. So let's pull the case to the side. Just want to get my pad out really quick and try this again. I want to see what the heck is up. Cause that is just so weird. Yeah, there doesn't appear to be like, I didn't damage anything. What the heck? Okay, just gonna try this again. See what's up. All right, let's see. Process of elimination, I guess. All right, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, you're completely correct, Blue Cubes, because, like, yeah, cause I'm not getting any registering. Yeah, I have no idea what's up with this one. And that's very concerning, because it was working. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to throw this one on mothballs for right now, because... Hey, Blue Cubes, I don't know if you could, if you'd be able to, can you send me a link to, like, what, that, whatever DIN, AT, or XT converter that you use on Discord? Because I probably gonna, if that one is sold, I'm probably just gonna have to pick one of those up, because, yeah, this sucks. I'm kind of really bummed about this, because, like, that was working, and I know everything works, like, but I can't in good conscience send it to the client with it like this. Like, I can't. I don't know if my converters, because, like, also, let me plug in my, here, let me do a test. Let me plug in the Omni key. Because the Omni keys I know work. So let me try my Omni key. Yeah, Omni keys are working. Yeah, my Omni keys are working just fine. So I know it's not my converter. So, like, my Omni keys I'm not having any issue with. So, yeah. Omni keys. Yeah. The Omni key's fine. Yeah, so, okay, I guess I'm gonna come back to this one at a different time. I'm probably just going to have to troubleshoot this one at a later date. So my client, this is delayed, again, unfortunately, but it is built, so, yeah, sorry about that, everybody. All right, let's move on to the FK 2001, everybody. I want to get the FK at least done. All right. So, well, that's kind of anticlimactic and disappointing, but hey, whatever. It'll get built. I mean, it'll get finished. I want to do things the right way, not the quick way, for client builds. So we'll get that one built eventually. All right, everybody, let's get the FK 2001 going. Alright, let's do this one because I've been wanting to get this one thrown together for a minute. So hopefully this one isn't going to be a nightmare. So, alright everybody, let's start doing our FK 2001 at least. So, alright, let's get our stabilizer parts out. for this one, and we'll kind of go from there. These are all the FK 2001 parts. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. All right, let's just get all these clips in here, folks. Yeah, Blue Keeps. Thanks, my man. So, yeah, I'll take a look at that one probably later tonight. After stream, I don't want to bore you all to death with my frustration on that particular one. I do want to get this one going. So yeah, we're doing an FK 2001 here, everybody. So this is a board I've been wanting to throw together for a minute. So this is going to be a fully restored board. And this board did come courtesy of Blue Keeps. So Blue Keeps, thank you, my man. So this board has been fully restored. The plate was sanded down, refinished. We cleaned up and restored the PCB. Switches have been thoroughly restored. So now we're just putting everything back together. And we are doing pine whites in this board because that is what the board came with originally. And I didn't want to swap it to something else. And I wanted an example of... Just send me the info on the DM, my man, and I'll definitely pick one of those up. And I'm just gonna tell the client, like, the board's built, but for some reason it's not registering correctly. So, because I'm not sending that board to the client like that. That's just not cool. So, yeah. So just kind of I'll be transparent with the client and just kind of give them an update as to what happened and what I'm seeing, and then that they will get their board. It's just I want to properly test it. Like, that's just how I go with client builds. Like, I'm not going to send something to a client if it's not 100% perfect. That's just kind of how I roll with stuff. Yeah, dude, don't remind me about that. I still feel stupid about breaking the clips on the top case. So, yeah. I have two bottom cases for this FK 2001. Because, yeah, so this is going to be fun. So, yeah, that was definitely a rookie mistake with the breaking the clips. That was I felt so stupid when I did that. Because, like, this was the first FK 2001 I wanted to open that I didn't care about destroying it. Like, all the other FK 2001s I've gotten, I'm like, I don't care if I destroy the case. So, like, I just snapped the clips and then, we just call it a day. But this one, when I got this one and the replacement for the top case, it's like, oh, I have to be careful because I want to restore these. So, yeah, but the top case on the replacement top case actually looks really nice. So, all right, let's get these ones going. Yeah, the plate came out really nice on this one. So I'm really happy with how it came out. Let's get these clips mounted. And once we got our clips mounted, we'll start putting switches in. Cool. Got all of that mounted. So many stabilizer parts. Look at all those. All right. Let's throw that stuff to the side. There we go. Let's grab 4 switches just to kind of solder in, kind of hold all this stuff in place. Grab our PCB. All right. All right, let's get our... Get these mounted. mounted. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, this one's going to be super sick. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know there's a bunch of different variants of FK2001s. I know there's one with like the split right shift and then one keyless blockers. I wanted this one because I like my full right shift. So I just want one example of a FK2001 in my collection. Again, I'm more biased towards the OmniKeys, which I know Focus Electronics made a lot of the parts for the OmniKeys, but I think these are just night and day superior quality. But I know I just want this one FK2001 from my collection just to say, like, hey, I have one in my collection and I have an example of it. That's just kind of part of why I want this board. And I think they're just good looking boards, and it's nice that they made a metric crap load of them, and they're pretty affordable on the used market, which is nice. Like, you can get them for like sub $50. So, and I know it's most people, including myself, just kind of see these boards as oh yeah, dude, OmniKeys, like, they're hands down my favorite, and I have 5 of the 10 original mainline models of OmniKeys. So it's gonna be sick. The one OmniKey that's gonna be a pain in the butt to get is gonna be the OmniKey 101P. Like, that one actually has the Windows keys, that one's just absurd. The ones I find online are absurdly expensive, so that one's going to be pretty expensive. But that'll probably be the last one I get. And I think that one has SKBM switches, which I know when I get that one, I will have to switch swap it because I'm not putting simplified. I don't want simplified Alps. No way. So let's get this soldering iron fired up. All right. Good times. Let's flip this puppy over. Carefully flip it over. Oh yeah, I have since I have 2 FK2001 PCBs, I had to identify which one came from you. So I wrote Blue Keebs. So yeah. So now I can get rid of this because I know this is the Blue Keebs FK2001. So there we go. So let's get my solder wick out. Let's solder in these 4 corners just to kind of hold everything in. And then we'll kind of go from there. So let's get that vent going. Yeah. Hey, it's a good time, everybody. It's a good time. Let's get this one going. Yep. Okay, let's move over to this side. Cool. Awesome. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, we got everything kind of held in place. Got this, gotta be careful of this little switch thingy. So there we go, everybody. So got our plate assembly kind of held in. Again, that plate came out really nice, actually. So refinishing this plate came out great. So PCB came out nice too. So let's grab my popcorn bucket of switches. So look at that. Literal popcorn bucket. So many freaking switches, man. Look at that. And the thing that's crazy, these are just the pine whites that have been restored. I have like a metric crap load that still need to like be put together. So that's the crazy part. So. All right, let's put these ones in. Yeah, definitely doing a marathon stream tonight. Yeah, the switches were definitely messed up. So, like, I definitely had to restore it. They definitely had to get some, they definitely needed some TLC and some love. But, yeah. So, yeah, we're getting these switches put in. It's kind of going around the perimeter of this board, getting them all in there. Oops, come on. There we go. Coming along. Come on. Ooh, those are going to be so nice. All right, let's get this F row in here. Cool. All right. Put in our numpad, and then we'll do our alphas and our numbers. Cool. Good times. Yeah, but it's filling in really nice. Nice. All right, let's do our cluster here, main alpha and numbers, and then we'll start soldering these puppies in. Yeah, this is definitely a marathon stream today, folks. So cranking out 2 builds on one stream is this is just that client build, which definitely gonna have to troubleshoot and figure out what the heck's wrong with that one. But this one is just one I've been wanting to throw together for a while. Oop. All right. Come on. There we go. All right, let's get them going. We're getting there. Almost there. Last row. Cool. Gone through a metric truckload of White Alps. Look at that. All right. Got all of our switches, everybody. Ooh. Those feel so good since they've been restored. So, all right. Let's flip it over, everybody. And we'll get the show going. All right. Let's start soldering stuff in. Let's get our vent out. Let's get my solder lead out. All right, let's keep it going. Cool. Start off with our number pad, folks, and then we'll just get this one going. Cool. Cool. So. Feeling it good, everybody. All right, looking good. So. Looking good. You're almost done with the number pad. Good. Looking good. Awesome. Looking good. Cool. Yes. All right, almost done with the navigation cluster. Looking good. Awesome, folks. Cool. All right, let's do our bottom row really quick. Coming along, folks. Coming along. Alright. Let me just turn my camera a little bit. There we go. Get to see those Omni keys in all their glory. Alright, let's start doing our F row. Let's move my vent down. Alright. Alright, got part of my F row done. Let's clean that tip off. Cool. F row is done, which is nice. Let's do the perimeter over here. Cool. Coming along, folks. Let's go over here. Cool. Once we have these ones done, then we'll just need to do our alphas and our numbers. perfect. Alright, let me get a little more on the solder lead. Cool. Almost done. Nice. Alright, just got to do our alphas here, and then we should be good. Coming along, folks. Alright, 2 more rows, and we should be ready to start testing switches on this puppy. one more row, everybody. Cool. All right. Got all those done, everybody. There we go. Cool. Got all those pins soldered in. We're not down to the woods yet with soldering. Still need to test everything. But looking pretty good. All right, let's get my FK 2001 cable. All right. Let's plug her in. Not using the Omni key right now. All right, let's get this puppy going. Space part's good. Caps lock light comes on. Escape isn't registering. All right, scroll locks, I have 3. Cool. All right, we have a few switches we're going to swap out. So let me count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 switches. That's not bad. Okay, let's get the desoldering gun fired up. All right. Yeah, so, I mean, it's good. So we're going to desolder some of these faulty switches, which are going to be fine. So, let's let this puppy warm up. Let's make sure I properly cleaned it out. There we go. Alright, just warming up the Hacko really quick. Had to just throw out some extra solder that got stuck in there. And we should be good. Yeah. Let her warm up. There we go. Okay, that one's good. We're going to do our... Oh, Lord. We already have a clog. Look at that, everybody. I already have a clog. It's okay. It's a finicky tool, but hey, it works. Okay, let's try that again. I got those. F7 has to come out. I already have another clog. What the heck? This is freaking delightful. So, yeah. So, yeah, the Hacko. It's a great. I mean, like I said, this is a really good tool, but it's very high maintenance and very sensitive. F7 scroll lock. And then the letter T. Lord. Another clog. Fun. I don't know how we keep getting the clogs on this one. Alright, let me just wipe off this puppy. Yeah, this is a fun time, everybody. Cool. Let's try it again, everybody. So. All right. Okay. We have the T. So I have this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 1, 2, 6. Huh. I guess I'll start off with that. Give me a second. Let me pull these ones out first, and then make sure those work, and then we'll go from there. Okay, scroll lock. That one's being pulled out. What else is being pulled out? Okay, pulling those switches out. Let's put these new ones in, and then we'll test these. Cool. All right, let's solder these puppies in. Let's turn the soldering iron on. Cool. Let the soldering iron heat up, and then we'll get this one going. Man, we've been down here for over 3 hours, everybody. Look at that. Cool. Almost there, and there we go. Cool. 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 All right, let's try this again. All right, let's plug this puppy in. Cool. Let's throw that to the side. All right, let's... All right, scroll lock's still being weird. Okay. Just going through testing everything thoroughly. Scroll lock still being weird, so we'll probably swap that one out. And my escape is being faulty. Okay, cool. We can work with that. So we're going to swap out scroll lock and escape. So, and I think we should be good. Cool. Let's pull those out. All right, give me a second. I gotta answer this. All right. Let's put this one in. And then this one. Perfect. Let's put those, solder those two in. Nice. Cool. Those are both in there. Let's plug this in again. Escape is good. Alright, switches all work, everybody. We're good. Alright. Move my converter. Let's move my cable back here. Alright, we are done with our soldering equipment. So I'm going to turn all that stuff off, and I'm going to put my soldering stuff away. Give me a second. Let me just put all this soldering equipment away. Cool. All right. So let's close my switch tester and let's start doing stabilizers. I mean, nobody does use scroll lock, but I want everything to work. I'm just anal about that and OCD about it. So, all right. Let's get my SK2001 set out. And we'll go from there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Space bar. Big ass enter. Cool. There should be a couple more. And that's everything. Sweet. All right. Let's put the rest of this set away. All right. Come on. Put that up there. Let's put the not too bad if I do say so myself. All right. Let's get out my let's figure out what I do need. I need a shift. I need one of these puppies. It's a whole rat's nest of FK2001 stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. get a bunch of my 2U wires out. So I need 6 of those. All right. We got my 2U, got that one, and then our spacebar wire. Perfect. Awesome. Let's put our clips on these puppies. So let's get our little co-star stabs in here to support it. Oh, I do need the little wire for this big ass inner. Where the heck are you? There you are. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, big ass inner has its stuff. Let's put our full right shift in here with our clips. Let's get our numpad enter in here. Cool, let's get our backspace. Hold up. Do a little bit of an adjustment here on this shift right here. There we go. Let's do a plus. And then our spacebar. All right, let's get our parts put away. These are all FK 2001 parts, by the way. So much FK 2001 parts. All right, so there we go. Do our big ass enter first because that does have the most parts. So let's lube our clips right here. Cool. Cool. Let's get our clips under here lubed up. Oh yeah. Well, these keycaps, I picked a really non-white keycap. I mean, a keycap that was very white. So I wanted this one to be a little more pristine than some of my other ones. So yeah. I mean, my crusty my crusty FK 2001 set that's like ridiculously yellow. It's on my Hex 3C V2. So, and that goes perfectly, and that's built pine whites, which I feel like that's a perfect build for those. Cool. All right, let's get these. Get these clipped in. Cool. Big ass enter is in. Hell yeah. Let's do that space bar just to get it out of the way. And we'll do the easy keys. That looks really nice. So let's get our space bar stuff lubed up. Let's get those space bar posts going. Let's get our clips. Cool. Getting that space bar in there. Let's get a little bit of lube on that wire where it's going to connect. Cool. Cool. Got the space bar on there. Awesome. All right, 2 keycaps that are just kind of a pain in the butt are on there. So that's nice. Let's do our shift over here just because it's all by itself. Cool. got that one going. Cool. All right, let's get this shifting here. Get that wiped off. Cool. All right, let's do our backspace up here. Cool. Cool. A proper 2U backspace. There we go. Let's do our right shift here. Cool. All right. Get those. Cool. Cool. Let's get this one connected. Crap. Got the clip came out. Oops. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm hearing a rattle in there. I don't like that. We're going to redo this one and pull this one off. Don't like that. Alright, yeah, don't want to hear rattle in my stabilizers. It's not good. Redoing that one. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, that'll do. Cool. Awesome. We got 3 more. Let's do our 0. All right. There we go. All right. Cool. So let's figure out my pluses. Almost there, folks. I'm stretched. Cool. Cool. Last one, everybody. And then I think we're good to put this in the case. All right. Cool. Almost there, friends. All right, I think we're good. Awesome. That is pretty good, everybody. Let's put my lube stuff away. I think we're pretty much ready to start inserting this into the case. So really good. All right, let me get my FK 2001 cases out. Yeah, these ones. These are the ones we're going with. Actually, this one looks a little... I'm gonna go with this bottom case. Cool. All right, let's get our that. go from there. All right. Okay, now we put the little switch thingy right there. Let's get my cable plugged in. Get my ground screw in a second. Let's get my ground. Cool. Cool. Let's just make sure that coils out correctly. Perfect. And before we put the case in, the top case, I only want to do one last test of everything, making sure everything looks good. So let's get this one going. Let's just get... A little bit of lube on the side of that keycap. Just pull it off. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of slack. There we go. All right, let's unplug this. Let's get that top case put in. I know these clips have to go in. They slide in. And then we just kind of clip everything in. And then there we go. All right. Didn't destroy it, Blue Cubes. Look at that. So, all right. Let's start putting keycaps on this thing. Look at that. So that looks gorgeous. It came out really nice. All right, let's get our keycaps out and let's put the rest of them on. So, I love Focus keycaps, and it's nice to have the keyboard now that they actually came from. And this is a very nice example of an FK 2001. Yeah, this is, I like Blue Cubes. I don't think this is not the keycaps that you sent me. I wanted one that was like super, super clean. Like for this board, they're so common. I wanted one to be nice. Like it's not like my Omni keys where I could care less. Like yellowing doesn't bother me, but for this one, I really wanted it to be really, really clean and really, really nice. I still need to find this. Track down the little indicator, little note thingy that goes right there. I don't know what it's exactly called, but I will track one of those down for this board to make it truly complete. But for right now, I think this is perfect for what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, nice. Yeah, these are really, this is a really nice set, so this is probably my best FK 2001 set that I had on hand, so this is perfect. So yeah, it probably came from you, but this is a nice set. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. This is looking good. Come along. Oh man, that looks sick. I know there's a little switch thingy in here. I'll figure out how to open it. But yeah, look at that. FK 2001. Look at that beauty. That is gorgeous. This is looks almost like new back in the day. Look at that. So, gorgeous, gorgeous little board. I mean, I can't really call it little. This thing is a full size. I don't know. Why is it not working? Let me see. I don't need to switch it, so it's fine. But let's do one last test of everything. And then I think we'll be good to call it, everybody. Look at that. This has been a marathon stream. We've been on here for almost 4 hours, everybody. Look at this. But yeah, that is super sick. This came out awesome. Let me get my switch tester out one more time. Cool. All right, so let me get out my switch tester really quick, and let's just try it one more time, just for my sanity. Good times. Cool. All right, everything works. So we are good. Holy cow. Yeah, let me just yeah, this board's awesome. I love it. So I'm really happy with how this one came out. Yeah, it's awesome. So this is a great board. I think it's going to make a great addition to the collection. I mean, let's put it next to one of the Omni keys, I guess, because again, the Omni keys were kind of had a lot of their parts made by Focus. I mean, you can see a proper. Actually, screw it. Give me a second. Let me grab the my favorite Omni key. So. I mean, I love the Ultra T, but it is not my gold badge Omni key. So let me grab that one. Let me grab the gold badge and like not have them fall off the wall. Let's grab the gold badge because that's I feel like a more fair comparison because this one is actually not as yellowed. It is a little yellowed, but not as yellowed as like the Ultra T, but I'm just kind of attached cables for these puppies, but yeah. So there we go, everybody. Let's just do a quick comparison of Pine Whites, Blue Alps, so really good boards, everybody. I'm really excited to finally again have a proper FK 2001 that is in gorgeous condition. So this is a really nice little board, and I love how light it is, to be completely honest. This is a board I could definitely like take on the go, which is really nice. So it's not like the chonker that like the Omni keys are. So yeah, love it. Again, folks, that was a marathon build stream. I'll let y'all know kind of on Discord what happens with regards to the other board, the client build. I got to figure out what the heck's wrong with that one. But thank you so much, folks. The VOD of this one will be on YouTube later this evening. And again, we'll see. Just kind of keep a lookout for pictures of the FK 2001 and the Zeos board. So have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.